What's up, future millionaires? It's your boy MTI, and we are still waiting on the animal farm to launch. Now, I do want to say I am recording this video early Friday morning, October 21st, so I do not know if the animal farm will launch sometime today. If it doesn't, this will be the fourth day that it has been delayed because we were all expecting it to launch October 18th. Now, I do want to say I did expect it to launch on that scheduled day, but at the same time, I'm not surprised that it didn't launch on October 18th now that it's happened. But I will say I am surprised about that it's not launched yet today. So we'll see what happens later on today and what comes forward. Are we going to actually have an animal farm launched this week? Or is he going to wait till next week, like a Monday or Tuesday, to say, hey, this is when we're going to launch the animal farm? I have no idea. Of course, there's a lot of people that's upset, a lot of people that's frustrated, disappointed, and quite frankly, yes, they have the right to be upset. But then again, you got to kind of take a step back and not be controlled by this whole atmosphere, because also think about it this way. For the people that haven't even invested into the farms and the pools and the dog pound, we haven't even invested any money yet. We want to invest money once it opens, but we haven't invested money yet. So we still actually have our money we was going to invest. So let's kind of take a step back and kind of, look at this thing in a more, I guess, positive standpoint, right? Because there's videos out there that's, coming at the team, coming at Forex. That's not who I am. That's not the type of channel I put out. However, I did expect the farm to be out. I'm not exactly sure what's been going on. Forex has gave us some statements, but I mean, then again, it's kind of like, I don't really want to hear no statements. I just want the farm to launch, right? That's kind of how most people are. So if we briefly head over to Telegram, and I'm also going to post the Drip Telegram and the Animal Farm Telegram in the description for you, so that way you can also stay up to date as well. And remember, there's going to be a lot of different scams out there, so I'm going to place the proper links in the description for you. Now, the first day was October 18th, right? And Forex came out with a statement and said they had an issue with drip liberation. They had to fix that, and they didn't want to pretty much open the animal farm at optimal hours and, not give everyone the best opportunity, right? So the next thing he talks about is, this is October 19th. He says, good morning. And I'm not going to read all of this, but you can definitely kind of pause the video and screenshot it. But he basically says, good morning. They're well rested and ready to go. He has a voice chat set for an hour, and trading will go live for, the AFD dogs and all of that. So then he says here, this is not a test. I repeat, this is not a test. All we have to do is push the updated site, which takes 3 minutes. Now, a lot of people was like, 3 minutes? Like, what's going on? So a lot of people's been talking about that. But hey, I'm just sharing with you, if you haven't heard from the other drip community, why the farm isn't launched and kind of, what's been going on the last few days, right? So as we move on down, try to see if I can find this other. And if you're in Telegram, you're not going to be able to post nothing right now because they have it paused until the animal farm fully launches. And so yesterday he made another statement, and he basically said, we decided to make a slight game theory change, which will make a major positive impact on the project. I have not made a public statement yet because I want the next public statement to be the staking is open and countdown to unpause. And this is coming from Forex. The last sentence I'm going to read here, he talks about, I will come in the voice chat and explain the change when staking starts, but it is extremely bullish for pigs, AFP, and it adds buy pressure to drip every time someone deposits while sending more drip to the Faucet tax vault. So I do think that is bullish. So I'm curious to see how all of the mechanics and all of this is actually going to work, and what game theory was this, because, my first thought was, as much as we've seen Forex do and as intelligent as he is, I would have thought this was already done. So I'm curious on, what triggered this new game theory, right? I'm curious on what triggered it, what kind of made this epiphany happen to say, hey, we can do this for the ecosystem that's beneficial for pigs and drip. I wonder why wasn't this already kind of implemented, right? So there's a lot of things we can, you can put out there. You can ask questions on kind of like, what's going on, things of that nature. But at the same time, it's completely up to you, based off of how you want to take this information that we have out there, because all we can really kind of do is go off of, what Forex say, or you can take your own assumptions, or you can take opinions from other people completely up to you, right? At the end of the day, though, my strategy is still going to stay the same. I'm still looking to get into the dog pound. I'm still looking to use the auto compounding pool as well whenever the animal farm opens. So, of course, we're not going to have as much liquidity as we would have had, because trust me, there's going to be people that don't invest because they're upset right now and they're going to invest later. You're going to have people that just not going to invest at all. You know what I mean? And so definitely a lot of the hype has died down because we're potentially on the 4th day of delay if it doesn't launch today. So again, I'm not sure if we're going to see an animal farm launch today. Is he going to wait till a next week, like a Monday or Tuesday, to do it? I have no idea. But at least let me show you a quick update on the Faucet while we're here. So if we look at the price here, current price is $5.62 for drip. And even though the price is a little bit lower, with the animal farm being, delayed potentially almost 4 days, for the price still to be, kind of stable between $5 and $6, just shows the power of the community. And then also, this is why we also say the Faucet is the foundation. It is the king of the ecosystem, right? The Faucet is still doing this thing. You can get rich with the Faucet by itself, and then the animal farm can actually help you extend and grow those riches and your wealth, right? But the Faucet itself can make you rich if you do it right. And so I currently have around 3,220 drip. I will be compounding here in about a couple hours or so. And if we head on over to the animal farm, you can see there's about 38 million total value locked. Current price of pigs is about 119. We head on over to the drip garden here. You can see I got about 4.6 million plants. And so my strategy is, because the decay is so hard on the garden. Now, this is my theory. I can be completely wrong, but this is my theory. There's a lot of people that's still going to keep pulling out those drip BUSD LPs and putting those into the farms and the pools. That means a lot of the wells that are above me that has more than 4.6 million plants, they're constantly pulling out while I'm going to keep compounding. So that's going to allow me to gain some ground on them. So hopefully if I can surpass some of them when the garden finally starts to level out, hopefully, and then maybe start to move back up when people want to start acquiring more drip BUSD LPs, because that's the only way you can get them is from the garden. But right now, people want to take those out to put them in the farms and pools. Once people start coming back into the garden, and this is just my theory, again, I could be wrong, but I'm just going to go ahead and keep on compounding because it doesn't make sense for me to withdraw at this point. I'm going to keep on compounding, keep grabbing ownership in the garden, so that way when it does come time for me to kind of start pulling out, hopefully I don't take that big of a hit and I still have hopefully a lot of share over most people in the garden. Now that's just kind of my strategy. Compound, gain more share over the people that's pulling out right now, over the whales that have 8 million 10 million plus plants. I'm gaining on them. I'm making let's go over to drip.formulate. You can see I'm making 153 plants per day. So you can see, I'm getting 1 million plants every 7 to 8 days, give or take. And eventually it's going to be down to 5 days. I'm at 1 million plants. And so I'm just constantly compounding, and hopefully I'm able to catch some of the whales, in this space. So that way I will be able to start making more LPs, because I don't want to start pulling as of yet. And also, as you can see, here's the total value amount, pretty much down $1,000 compared to what I put into the garden. I put 3K in. You can see 2,075, so pretty much $1,000. And the high LP ratio I was at was about 10.5 LPs. You can see I'm at about 8.08 LPs. And so this is why I say as well, the garden is extremely high risk. It is a leverage play, a 3x leverage play on drip. The price go down, you're going to get hit triple hard. The price go up, you get the best of both worlds. And so this is kind of how the garden operates. And this is why people say, before you think about getting into the garden, maybe look at the Faucet, because it's more sustainable, it is more consistent, and it doesn't actually matter what your strategy is, right? Rather you're withdrawing 5 times a day and compounding, or compounding every single day, you're still going to get that same 1%. Whereas with the garden, you have to compound more than you withdraw to keep that 3%, right? And then also the garden really doesn't have an end game, right? It just kind of keeps going. It's a game, it's a miner. Whereas with the Faucet, it does have an end game. You're actually able to get to a max wallet. Now, of course, you can start more wallets, but it actually has that end game strategy that you can work towards, that you don't have to worry about the decay that you are seeing right now in the garden. Because not only do you got your contract share that affects the garden, you have the drip LPBUSD price that affects the garden. You also have the plant decay that affects the garden. And that's because it's helping people that's coming into the garden have the same amount of buying power as people who got in at the beginning, right? So this is why I say again, the garden is extremely high risk. So if you don't understand the full mechanics of the garden, or if you haven't been following, anyone's garden journey, I would highly recommend looking at my garden videos and then looking at today's video, and you can just kind of see how things can be good at one point and then things can kind of go down as the price and other things drop. So this way you can kind of know what you're getting into. If you're not already in the garden, me personally, I wouldn't get into the garden as of right now. I would kind of wait for things to kind of level out and then maybe thinking about doing something. None of this is financial advice, but if I can at least maybe share something with you that will hopefully help you, that's the whole idea. So let me know if you gained some value from this video. This ain't a video for me to, bash Forex or the team or anything of that nature. Definitely, kind of, disappointed that it's not launched. But again, whenever it launches, my strategy is still the same, the dog pound, and then I'm going to go into the auto compounding pool. So shout out to the drip community. All of you have a great weekend. Depending on what happens with the farm, I will see about maybe potentially putting out another video this weekend. But if not, I will catch you all on Monday.